even when it got so hard and like this was July 2023, then we had to like rewrite like 100,000 words of the book. And bear in mind, at this point, you're still working full time. Well, okay, we'll have dragons, but not a single one of them breathes fire. So it was like having fun with these tried and
Yeah.
tested and beloved tropes, which some of them we leaned into, and then some of them we really lean into.
We love it when people say they can't tell who's writing what, because it means that it's like not really jarring to go back and forth between them.
This final book is a lot shorter than the first. It's about 40,000 words shorter. There's some bits in it where it's like there's things that we still love, you know, like there's kind of the kill your darlings, the things that only me and Becky and our agents will ever know about. We wanted to have a romance that people could feel quite obsessive over. You don't have to be all powerful to be strong. You don't have to be neurotypical to be strong. So we really, that was a very conscious decision by us too, showing the different types of female strength through both of these characters, so that hopefully everyone sees something in them.
So I'm really excited to be chatting with you both. I was really, really lucky, as you can see behind me, to read an early copy of Bloodbound, which is phenomenal. For those of you who are lucky to have read it, you will know it's an absolute, there you go, there's the ringing. It is a 6-star read, for sure, undeniable. For those of you who haven't read it, I will give you a snapshot of what I think is key things to know. So Witch Queendom versus Dragon Rider Kingdom, very important that we know that. 2 FMCs, once in a generation deadly duel, unique magic system, female friendship, found family and familiars. I will not say that 10 times fast because that would be impossible. And to end, dragon riding thighs is the
dragon riding thighs. I love that people have embraced the dragon riding thighs.
I think that's like my newest favorite trope, and I think it's gonna stick. I think it's gonna stick for sure.
Hate that trope. No one could hate that trope. No.
A perfect visual. As soon as you read that, I think
so good.
So yeah, I think that's a good taster to what's to come for people that will inevitably read it if they haven't read. Did you want to add anything to that, or are you pretty happy with that quick summary?
I thought that was a great summary. Very like, I mean, to be fair, like Ashlee, honestly, we keep having to do videos to introduce our book, and I'm like, what is it? What's it about? Me and Becky just look at each other. It's so hard. Like, we know it so intricately, but then when you have to kind of reduce it to say a paragraph, it's just so hard, isn't it? I thought you did a great job. Please do all of our intros. Thank you.
Happy to. It's like when someone asks you like what your job is, and you're like, I know I work, like I'm busy, and I definitely do things in my day, but I could not tell you what I do. Things and things. Yeah. So to start, I think I'll do like a quick rapid fire, ease us in, and then we'll get into sort of like the juicier stuff.
Oh my God, rapid fire. Okay.
It's easy, don't worry. Well, I don't know. I'm not answering. I just wrote them. Writing, morning or evening, or in the middle?
Oh
I'm always.
Becky's always writing. She never stops. She's like under 3 different names.
Yeah.
I just write whenever I feel I can't. I hate routine. And if someone said to me, you can only write in the morning, I'd suddenly never be able to write again. So I'm like whenever it takes me kind of vibe, you know.
Cool,
yeah.
Cool.
So we failed the first quick round, quick fire question.
No, I should let me go back to the start. No wrong answers, only right answers.
Thanks,
so that's fine. Quiet room or background noise?
Background noise.
Background noise.
Yeah.
And body doubling or like sprints, you know, like something, I need something like that for sure.
Yeah.
A recent discovery. Yeah.
Yeah, I've learned about this as well, actually. Speaking of the Pen Cole Q&A that I did, I learned that through her, and just like that.
Queen Pen. Okay, great. I'll obviously mention that to her when I meet her.
You could name drop me, totally fine.
I will name drop you.
So first draft, messy or structured? Oh.
Sorry, definitely messy. Messy. Yeah,
Okay, that's fun though. That's fun.
messy. No, I mean, we think there's structure. Oh yeah,
It's your
just
craft.
get it down, Ashlee.
Yeah.
Just get it. I think our thing is just get the words down,
Yeah.
get the plot down, and then go through and make it sing.
I love that. A plotter or pantser, and how does that work if you're opposites?
We're both plotters, I think. So
Good.
Big plot. You sometimes do like going more. I'm a bit more of a plotter. I have to know everything. As in, I have to know the plot, not necessarily everything.
Yeah.
Casey sometimes tries to make us go before.
I am a plotter, but I do like to go on a tangent.
Yeah.
Or just need to get something down. But I think when we're working as a duo, as much as we write a POV each, we still plot everything together. Like we both have to know where the story's going. So you just you have to be a plotter when you're working with someone else for sure.
Yeah.
I think you
But also
mad without doing that.
I also think with such a complicated plot, I mean, I won't do any spoilers, but Ashlee, you've obviously read the end of Bloodbound, and the end is so wild. You could probably see with books 2 and 3 what we're having to set up there. And for me and Becky, we put a lot of thought into our foreshadowing. So there's questions you don't even know you have that we've already asked in book 1 that you won't even think of until book 3. Like, so that we really take it seriously, wanting to plant these seeds that won't come to fruition until book 3. Like that, we love, because we love that ourselves as readers.
Yeah.
So we love to deliver that for our readers. We love doing that.
I do love that when you get a sense of that in the book that you're reading as well, when you know that someone is like, I know you guys have said this, it's like a love letter to the genre, and it's you can feel that when you read it, because you know you're giving me just what I need. Like you're like kind of edging me in the beginning of the series, like not just in the book, it's the whole series. Like we'll give you enough, but we're going to leave you wanting so much more. And I love that. And then especially when you do come to the end of a series, the first thing for me, I want to go back, just read the start and be like, okay. Yeah.
The clues were there.
Yeah. And sometimes very
that.
early on. Very early. So
definitely.
Just know.
And it's also, because we talk about this, me and Becky talk about this, I think there's things that readers want to, like, I know I as a reader want to guess something and know I'm right, and so it's like, so you feel satisfied, but then there's the things that you don't guess and they do come as a genuine surprise, but the clues were there, you know, because I don't like it when things just come out of nowhere with, like, you know, you have to know it's going somewhere and for that reveal to really land, I think.
Especially when you do, and in your, you know, your book is so brilliantly done. It's like such an amazing world building. You don't want it to be so beyond accessible that it comes out of nowhere and then people think like, oh, did I not get that? Like you want want people to kind of feel like smart because they understand what's going on.
It's like a treasure hunt, isn't it? And it's like you want to get some things and other things be a nice surprise.
Yeah, that's a good balance. A trope that you love in books, but you would hate in real life.
Red flag MMC.
Yeah, enemies to lovers. Yeah.
Love it in books.
Really
in real life, I'm like, hell no. Get that man in the bin. Yeah. No time for that.
I watched a Q&A of someone else, and they did ask that same question, and I think she said like dagger to the throat, and I was like,
literally just gonna say that. I was like, don't think I'd actually want to be pinned against a wall with a dagger to my throat, but I love it.
But in the book,
actually, I disagree, Becky.
Like I said, no wrong answers.
And as Ryan says, as long as we have a safe word.
Yes. Love that. Emotional pain or physical danger?
In real life?
No, not real life. I don't know. In a book.
As in, what do we like writing about, or reading?
Yeah, what you like writing about? Yeah.
Can we say both?
Yeah,
or is that really cheating? It's got to be, but I think you've the high stakes plus really putting readers through the emotional ringer.
Yes. Yeah.
But if we had to choose one,
It's okay. You don't have to.
okay, thank God. Okay, great.
I wrote the quiz,
Thank you.
so we can veto that one.
Thanks, Ashley. Thank you.
First kiss or final confession?
Oh, final confession.
Oh. Yeah, it's got to be final confession, hasn't it?
This one did actually, I'll admit, when I wrote this in my crafty writing moment, did actually stump myself, and I thought, oh, it's got to be, it depends on the slow burn, but I think final confession just.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, final confession. Yeah, that's a really good one. That is a good one.
You can borrow that. I'll let
What about a final confession with a first kiss?
That's a lot. Sensory brain would not be able to process all of the things that would go on.
Overwhelmed.
Could you just write that down and we'll come back to it? Astrid and Skylar's go-to karaoke songs.
We just did a playlist, didn't we? For do you have one already? We've talked about this before, you know, but I don't know if we've actually come up with them.
I feel like
something angry and rappy. But I'm not a very angry rappy person.
Wait, no, I haven't. I think I have one for Sky. I think I've got Skylar's ones.
Okay.
I feel like Skylar would do like an Alanis Morissette, like you
yeah.
wanna know, you know what, like something like that, or like I'm a bitch, I'm a lover.
Yeah.
And then Astrid would probably do something like no, I won't do that because that almost was a massive spoiler. She'd probably do something a bit like, oh look, I'm singing Shallow, Lady Gaga. Skylar, you will be my Bradley Cooper.
I love it.
I need to think we need to think of better songs, don't we?
No, that's
a good question.
Alanis Morissette is always a win. So favorite line or moment you wrote in the book. I will not accept any chapter 37 answers in this. That is a wrong answer.
We'll pretend that chapter doesn't exist for the purposes of this call. Favorite line, or did you say favorite line or scene?
Yeah, or moment.
Or moment.
Do you want a different answer for each? Because I think I think chapter 9 probably, right, as a like end of chapter 9
is great. I love the masked ball / Winter Wonderland scene.
Yeah,
I do love that a lot. But I'd say in terms of lines, I feel like Skylar, especially when it's like, I think Skylar has some of the core, like Skylar and Bastet often have some of the great sassy lines.
Good lines.
The line about standing around like lemons is like part of my vocabulary now. I'm like, we're just standing around like lemons. I've said to my kids, to my husband. So I love it.
Oh my God, I'm so like our greatest achievement today. I love that.
It's so perfect. And it's like,
oh, sorry, go on, Ashlee.
No, you guys go. You go.
I was going to ask Becky, what's your favorite scene? Are you saying chapter 9 or?
I mean, I think I don't know how much I can talk about I think maybe some of my favorite scenes. I think chapter 9.
Are they too spoilery?
I mean, I didn't write it, but I don't know how I say it. But I love the dance scene.
But that was your idea. It was so in the original book, we didn't have the dance scene in it. And Becky was like, we've got to put a dance scene. And then for anyone who hasn't read it, listening in, there's a massive plot twist at the end of chapter 9. So it's a great kind of like having the dance scene isn't a spoiler. So it's that kind of classic dance scene you get, but then you have the big plot twist, which is really fun. Like, honestly, Becky nailed it with that suggestion. And I do also love that scene.
Yeah, no, it's good. And then to end rapid fire, one word that captures Bloodbound that you think, without using the word blood or bound.
Oh my God.
I hate
What,
what-
someone did an Instagram post the other day, and it was like, describe like the book in 3 words, and Bloodbound, for their Bloodbound they put ruined my life.
Traumatic.
I was laughing so much. One word for Bloodbound.
I mean, but I don't. I'm trying to think of a better evocative word. I can't really think of an evocative word.
I might go for something a bit trite and twee. I might say passion, because the book was born out of the passion me and Becky have for this genre. And
Yeah.
I really hope that when people read it, they can see our love for this genre and these characters and this book come through. Like, sort of like, I hope the authenticity of it comes through. So that's kind of what I'd say in one word.
I like that.
So I have to do one too. All I keep thinking of is friendship, and I don't.
Oh
think-
yes, no, that's a
That's
perfect one.
perfect.
Oh yeah, friendships. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, I like that.
No, they're perfect together. Passion,
Yay.
friendship. Because that's you
Passionate
guys, and
friendship.
that's the story. That's
Yeah.
perfect.
Yes,
Now,
passionate friendship. Oh,
to touch on that, that's perfect timing actually for my first question. Let's start at the beginning. How did Bloodbound come to life for those that don't know your story?
you go, Becky.
So I mean, it started actually with us drinking quite a lot of wine, I think. Like, so Katie and I met. I still don't know how many years ago. We've answered this question.
10. I think we need to go with 10 years
10
ago.
years ago. Katie and I met about 10 years ago in London, and I came to replace Katie. She was leaving a publishing house, and I was coming in to take her job. Not in a weird way, because she wanted to leave. But
Got booted out.
took a week handover together, and then stayed in touch through just having the same sort of similar circle of friends and everything. And then Katie moved to Cornwall, and I really weirdly ended up moving like about half an hour away from Katie, just completely coincidentally.
That was like 2022, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then neither of us really had many friends. So we like bonded over that, but and hung out a lot. And I don't know how we'd managed to go this long without realizing it, but we like discovered that we were both really into fantasy. And I think we'd loved it when it was like not as cool to like it, so it just wasn't talked about as much, right? So
yeah.
So we were kind of both like secretly loving it. And we were like, oh my God, you love it too. And then we were talking about all the books we loved, and we were like reading books, and like Katie was recommending stuff, and I was sending like live updates. And then we started talking about it as a bit of a joke of like, oh, maybe we should write a book. And we've still got the WhatsApp that says, from me to Katie saying we should write a dragon book together. And I think we didn't, I don't know how seriously we took it at the beginning, but I'd go over to Katie's, and we were like, if we were going to write a book, what would it be? And we'd like plan it all out and like drink a lot of wine.
It actually amazes me that we did this, because I was also like, we both had like our full-time jobs. I had a 9-month-old at home. Like, I'm working 60 hours a week. I've got Teddy. My daughter Teddy was 9 months old, and me and Becky, we did this like in our like late nights, early mornings in our spare time, but never expecting anything coming from it. And we were obsessive over it. Like, I don't know how we have enough memory on our phones for the amount of WhatsApps and VNs and it honestly, it's amazing how we got so lucky as a duo. Like, we just, because you don't know if you're going to be able to work with someone in that way, or if your ideas will align right. And we were so lucky with the way not only our ideas are aligned, but the way our kind of focus aligned, and how we were so like, we just let it snowball, and we just kind of put it along, even when it got so hard. And like, this was July 2023, and then I got my agent in like August 2024, and then we had to like rewrite like 100,000 words of the book. And bear in mind, at this point, you're still working full time. There's no
Yeah.
there's no remuneration. It's all just kind of, and you've got like a 1.5-year-old at home, where you've got all your rescue horses that you've got to look after. And it really was, it's so much sacrifice and compromise, but you do it for the love of it. And I could never have done it without Becky. You know what I mean? I honestly, I look back, we're a few weeks away, and I think I'm starting to feel like emotional about it, because I'm like, I cannot believe we're here now. Thinking back to then 3 years ago, like I could never have imagined any of this.
Yeah, it's like you say though, like even going back to, and we were laughing, but the word, and it's passion, isn't it? Because if you didn't have that passion and that friendship, how could you ever have? I mean, maybe, but those things are, you know, I've got 2 young ones, and it's those things that you just cling to that get you up and push you through. And if you don't have that, then things just wouldn't keep moving, would they? So
totally.
Yeah.
Oh, I love how you brought it back to the passion and friendship, Ashlee. Like, you're so spot on. That's absolutely it. Yeah.
But it's true. It is true, and it's, you know, as someone that's read the book, I know that it's there in an authentic sense. But even from an author perspective, it's so clear that it's there. And co-authoring is an amazing feat. How did you make it work? I mean, we talk about passion, obviously, but beyond that, how did you make it click?
I feel like at the beginning it didn't really. It's like how long? I mean, what? It's like 3 years, did you say, Katie? That since we started?
Yes, I mean nearly 3 years. Yeah,
it's changed a lot, and now obviously like it's changed again, because there's the financial side of it, and like it's Katie's likened it before to like you're going, it's like you're being a business partner with a friend, because there's so much other stuff that happens as well outside of the writing, but you are then to both dependent on it financially, which is something that do you know what, I just didn't think of any of that. I don't know if you I feel like neither of us really did. We were quite naive in that, like, this would be fun, let's just do this.
So like, yeah.
And I think at the beginning, like, I just remember so many calls where we would just be having a great time, and we'd be like, okay, I'm gonna go to the loo, I'll call you back, and we were on the phone for like 6 hours, like really like stupid lengths of time.
Oh, till like 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
and
like,
honestly,
talking about the book.
Yeah.
And mainly just talking about how much we loved like Skyler and Astrid, like, and again, and talking about WhatsApps. I think I've still got somewhere there's things like I think I've said to Katie, or she said to me, I can't remember, like I just want somebody to love them as much as we love them, and that's what we were kind of talking about in terms of like, if it ever got published, like that's what we wanted. And and so I don't know, for me at the beginning it was just like, it was fun. It was like, because I mean, I like Katie said, I've written other things and under different names, so I was doing that alongside, and then this would be like the fun thing that I got to do on the side of that. And we just like taught. I remember being really sad because one of my books didn't do very well in the US, and Katie like rang me to check I was okay and all of this kind of thing, because I'd had the bad news. And then we just ended up talking about the book, which made me feel better. Into like just talking about Skyler and Astrid, and we'll like think of like fun things like suddenly with a character, and we love the like interactions with the characters. I think it's still like today we had an author on, and it's still the thing that if we're like, I was feeling really tired, and like, you know, you still have to like pick yourself up, and that is harder when you're 2 of you, because you've got to be on each other's schedules, you know, you can't just like, go on your own. And we were still then just laughing at like things that the characters might say or do, and wouldn't that be funny, and like that's the thing that is so, because talking about all of that. So that wasn't really very helpful. Basically, at the beginning, it didn't really feel like work at all, did it? And then
I think from like a logistical point of view, if like anyone was interested in, you know, the actual how to go about it, me and Becky, for example. So, you know, so Sable Sorensen, for example, an author duo, for anyone who doesn't know, they have like currently it's just Merrin POV, and they both write Merrin as a POV. But what Becky and I do, we actually write a POV each, which automatically from the beginning made it easier in the sense it's like I write Astrid's and Becky writes Skylar's POV.
Yeah.
So you kind of like take, you sort of have accountability for each of those strands. But what we do is we, as I said before, like we do plot it all together, and it's like simple things like a shared live Google Doc. So you can go, you know, so everything's on there, so you can both update as you're going. And then like how we do. So currently in Bloodbound, again, we have a bit of a, so I'm going off on a tangent now. There's a structural thing we do in Bloodbound for another twist, and we put a lot of thought into it, and it was really hard. But you know how Bloodbound is written Astrid Skyler, and it doesn't deviate from that until. So, and having to structure the book like Astrid Skyler, even in itself was so hard. But what it did mean was that I'd write my Astrid chapter based on what we discussed. Becky would read it, edit it, and then write her Skylar chapter to make sure we had this consistency. But we both read and edit each other's chapters. I'll go in and like do something very like minor, say Becky's chapter. Becky will do the same for mine, say if it's like especially related to like Skylar, to really make sure their voices still feel really authentic. So yeah, that's how so in book 2, and again, this is not a spoiler, don't worry everyone, but we do have a third secret POV in book 2. So we started trialing like a new way of working where me and Becky are both writing this POV. So a bit like the Sable Sorensen method, if you will. Yeah. So that's quite a fun new way to try it, because we've got ideas for book 3 that we need to do. But yeah, I think there's lots of different ways to do it, and it's finding, I think as well, Becky, maybe, I think, because Becky's such an experienced writer, and this is my debut, I think there was a lot of learning I did as a writer as well through, you know, like looking at how Becky wrote and like trying to make sure we had this kind of sense of consistency through the novel, which we've had lovely feedback for, haven't we, Becky, where people like, I didn't realise it was like 2 different writers, but each character feels very much their own voice because it is 2 different people writing it.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's quite long-winded.
No, I love it. But that's, like you said, you're like, Becky has had experience, has had, you know, other releases, and the fact that you go back and edit as you're going as well, and making sure that the voices are still unique but they're still moving forward together. And yeah, for me, from a reader's perspective, it did feel like one author but 2 very unique, distinct voices in your characters. So and speaking about that, I mean, going to you, Becky, I know, you've published under, you know, other names, and you are experienced in PR and publishing. And how did that process change? Like, I know you said from a financial perspective, it was new. How did that sort of change as co-authors, and how involved have you both been in editing and also like the PR and plan for the release?
So the PR thing, I've got used to. So I've been working in PR for what, like 15 years or something, but I was used, so actually that was harder with my debut, my like on, you know, that I did before and I was at, like, I think I've got more used to being on the author side now, as in I've got you're used to like the what you do as an author versus what you do as a publicist. I mean, from a publicity perspective, you know, we still, like, because I'll have contacts and I know people, so you end up people just talking to you about the books. You end up kind of being involved in that, whether or not, like, not in a bad way, just because you're talking to the people and it's weird. Like,
weird if you don't talk to them.
You kind of are involved from that point of view. Did you mean the difference between writing alone and with someone? Is that what?
Yeah, so now they're navigating as like a co-author duo.
I mean, it's so I've still got like books. So I've got another one coming out under my Emily Stone novel, Emily Stone name this year. So I'm like balancing the 2, and you know, it's just like different author personalities, and it doesn't, because there's such different books, like in terms of your brain space, you can switch quite easily. It's not like you're trying to do something that's really similar all the time and like lines get blurred. I mean, it's so different. Do you know what, it's so different and not, because ultimately you're still writing, like writing is writing, right? So the actual process of sitting down and the way I'll like write my own chat, like I have a real just like set way that I write. So I basically write each chapter in like note form first, and then I go out and write it in full form. And I've done that pretty much for every book. And it now, because it works, that's how I keep doing it. And it's not, you know, it's like, and I'll write a lot of the dialogue and stuff first, and then I'll go out and try and fill it in. So I like draft each chapter twice, but the first one is just such a loose thing. So it's not really even and it makes, you know, it makes me quicker, I think. Like, you'd think that was slower, but it's like I have to get everything down and then write it. Yeah. That kind of writing process doesn't really change from like the chapter by chapter level. I think I mean, it's so different in terms of it. I mean, Katie knows this, you know, Katie's not had books published, but you have written books before. So it's similar thing in terms of, you know, when you're alone, you're only accountable to yourself in terms of deadlines. So like a kind of logistic thing, but also like you can kind of do what you want, and then, whether that's a good thing or not remains until you get feedback from, and the feedback that you get is very removed. So I had the book I wrote under my first name, One Moment, I wrote the first like 30 or 40,000 words, and then I sent it to my agent, and she gave me like quite big editorial feedback to the extent that it was told from 3 points of view, and she suggested cutting one of the points of view and just telling it from 2 points of view, which I had a like mini meltdown over. But it was the right thing to do. But it's so different having, because then I went back and fixed it. Whereas when we're writing two of us, there's a constant feedback loop, right?
Yeah.
You have to do that. You can't be like, I'm going to go and write my side and then share it with you, and then you obviously can't do that. So that, and Katie knows that, but I find it hard sometimes, and I've got to be in the right frame of mind to have the feedback, because it's such immediate feedback. Whereas I'm very used to the feedback, and I actually love the feedback. Like, my agent was so right in that situation, and I like look back and I'm like, oh my god, I can't imagine having not done it like that. But because there was a gap, I mean, I did send her like, so she sent me it on like the Friday, and I sent a full meltdown message on the Friday evening, but by the time she was back in the office, I'd calmed down. So I sent another email being like, okay, I've now calmed down, and like, and it's okay now. But yeah, you don't, I think Katie's, she's there. Yeah, so that's a
sorry, because when the doors are closed, sometimes my internet goes. Sorry, it's so rubbish. So I have to like open the doors a bit, like let the internet gods in. I'm so sorry. You must think wondering what I'm doing. Oh, sorry guys.
That's the difference. I mean, a nice difference is when I'm trying to brainstorm my own books, I have to like rope friends into brainstorming that just don't. Yeah, often Katie too. But like
I love brainstorming on an Emily Stone book. I cannot tell you. So the new Emily Stone is set in a ski village, and I was like, Becky was like, Katie. So I met my husband in a ski village, and I used to live out there. So Becky was like, Kate, and I was like, let me give you the ski village knowledge.
Here we go.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, I don't know. Would you agree? I mean, I agree with that, Katie. Oh, and how involved with the marketing? Do you want to talk about that?
Well, I, as Heather, who's listening, knows, I'm chronically online, and I really need to sort my life out. There she is. You know what? We had an email from our publisher today, and it was lovely Sam, who works with our editor Tash, going, our sales team are really pleased with, you know, how you contribute directly to sales of the book, but they have asked that when this secret edition turns up on Friday, you do not post it online, because we are not allowed to post it until publication week. And I was like, okay, I wonder if I'm even allowed to say there's a secret edition, but okay, it's only us guys, it's fine. Because like I do stuff and they're like, oh, she's done it. She's set up a pre-order campaign.
What is it, Tom Holland, for all like the Marvel films? They tell him nothing. So are you like the Tom Holland?
I am.
But they wouldn't be able to not tell us something, because Katie, you know that Katie was an editor as well. So you know, I've had the publicity experience, but Katie's been an editor for lots of years. I don't remember any years, Ashlee. So she's the other side of it. So I know
everything. Yeah. I tell them, I'm like, guys, I know everything. Like, because also I've got like, you know, all our Instagram pals, and they'll send me something, and I'll be like, I'll go like, guys, I didn't know. You know, like Book of the Month. We didn't know about Book of the Month. And then there's someone on Instagram was like, I've just seen this on Book of the Month. Like, that definitely looks like our dragon and panther. And then I emailed our editor, and our editor's like, I did not know about this. And it's quite a big deal. But it's like it's a nice surprise. So the marketing I've really enjoyed, and I love, like, the Bookster community is something that I've found such joy in.
Yeah.
And we've made such friends with these amazing people. And I always say this to like our publisher, and also to the gang, like Heather can attest to. like the publishers need the readers and the Bookster community more than we need them. It's all
Yeah.
like the publishers need them, and that is something that we have to remember. Like, we should not take these early readers and these creators for granted. So yeah, and I do like, I think it's going to get to a point now, like as it grows, I have to become more boundaried with my time, more because I need to get a book written, but also I really enjoy that part of it. Like, I really enjoy
Yeah.
going chatting to my friends online, you know.
Well, because you deserve it too. Like, you crafted something amazing, and you deserve to have that recognition. If you do something good, you deserve to know it's good, I think. And
Oh,
I
you know
think,
what, Ashley? It's not even that. I just like to go on and gossip with my pals. Do you know what I mean?
do you know what? I will say this. Heather is, I know you're in this call, Heather is the best person to gossip with. Anytime I see
love it.
something, I think, when did I miss that? And can you catch me up real fast? Because I don't have time.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's juicy in the Bookstagram world. That's what I've come to learn.
exactly. And I want to go. I will say, I hate drama, but I like to know what's going on.
Oh yeah,
And I
drama
like to be-
adjacent.
Yeah, exactly. If I never want to be the center of drama. My God, no way. I'm like, no, thank you. But I like to be like with my pals, be like, we're safe in the drama-free zone.
Yeah, and if you see something as well, and you're like, I didn't know that. Why didn't I know that? Like,
Yeah.
what did I miss in the 8 hours that I was asleep?
Oh my God, asleep. Yeah, literally, I went to bed 6 hours ago. How has this happened in that 6 hours? But you know what?
yeah.
We've been lucky to go back to we've been lucky in that we have amazing publishers like UK and US, and an amazing team, amazing agents who are so collaborative. And me and Becky get to be involved in a lot of the decisions that are made. Especially like sometimes ones that they don't want us to be involved in, but they
But
take it with good
everything.
grace. I know everything. Quincy hands.
And to go back to it, it wasn't always going to be a dragon book, was it? And how and when did that change?
Well, that was quite an early on. I had a meltdown, Ashley. So I was like, which is like part of the course apparently. But I sent the message. WhatsApp said we should write a dragon book, and then I was like, "There's loads of
They panicked.
like a dragon book." Katie was like, "No, we will put dragons in." So then I was like, "Fine, but they can't breathe fire," and that was like the compromise.
But also, what an amazing USP then to have. So
Yeah.
what it started out actually, where we started with the kind of the idea of these two warring kingdoms, these two people who were going to be put kind of head to head. The kind of the personal stakes, then the higher stakes of like all magic is what's at stake. Sorry, I said stakes so many bloody times there. And then it was like, I was like, I think we need dragons. And then it was like, I think we need talking familiars. And then it was like, it just started escalating.
Well, I mean, that also goes back to like the love of the genre, right? And you'll always, I feel like, gravitate to what you like to read. So you'll be like, oh, well, I did read that one time, and maybe I'd like to write it next. And yeah,
Actually, I'm glad you said that, actually, because something else we do is that you take these, there's a lot of obviously familiar tropes or familiar things you've seen there. So like the MMC who's like over 6 foot and has his dark hair and silver grey eyes. But then it's like we check like how he's not a shadow dad, and there's something like we do again. It's like I don't want to spoiler any, like this is really non-spoilery, but how we make him different, for example, to the MMCs who you see who look like that. Then, as Becky said, with the dragons, it's like, well, okay, we'll have dragons, but not a single one of them breathes fire. There is no fire that any dragon breathes. So we have the elemental and celestial dragons. They command like shadows or sunlight. And another thing we did was we were like there's no shadow daddy, but there's a shadow dragon. So it was like having fun with these tried and tested and beloved tropes, which some of them we leaned into, and then some of them we really lean into. And then, as you know yourself, Ashley, there's like a massive twist towards the end, which we are pretty positive that's never been done before, and we're like, which we're really excited about. And that's our redacted trope that we love to talk about.
Yes.
But we had so much fun planning those. Like, what are we going to lean into, what are we going to subvert, but
Yeah.
how, most importantly, do we make sure it is plot essential, character essential, fits with the story, so it never just feels kind of shoved in there. Everything has to feel authentic to the story and the characters, and their motivations was key for us.
Yeah, I think it takes it to that next level as well, because you can always rely on, like you said, the tried and tested tropes that, you know, people are going to grab people in the first instance, but it's about like taking that to the next level, making it your own. And I think that's when like the book kind of leaves that lasting impression with people, because they're not like, oh, it was a dragon book, because it wasn't a dragon book. There are dragons. And it's the same as like, it's not romantasy, it's fantasy romance, you know, and it's like you've leaned into the world building and the character building, and they're just like bits that make it a bit fun, you know. I think that's why, for me personally as a reader, I think that's when the book goes to that next level for me. It's like, it isn't just leaning on something that's like kind of that shock value of like dragons are cool or shadow daddy or things like that, because yes, we love those things, but we
do love those things.
Elevating it and giving it its own identity within the story, and the story is the most important part, not the fun bits. Well, you know, they all work together.
I'm really glad that came across for you. Thanks, Ashlee.
That's fine. And third person POV, what was the inspiration? Is it because you were writing together, keeping it?
I think pretty much that, a dual POV / writing together. I'm just going to like, sorry, it's getting dark out there. I'll put another lamp on. My voice will be coming in from elsewhere, guys.
Yeah, I think at one point I was like, should we be writing in first person? And we had a whole like question about it.
Because some people have very strong opinions about first person versus third person.
Yeah.
I mean, I think ultimately I was told this, and I've done like a few writing courses and have been, you know, close third person versus first person. There's not a huge amount of difference. You're still in the character's head. And like, it's not, you know, but people do have strong opinions. I mean, third person present people, there's been a few people being like, oh, it took me a while to like get into it because it's so different. So
it stumped people a bit, didn't it?
Yeah, so the decision. But then I think that's not a bad thing either, right? Like, you're doing it your own way, I guess.
Also, doing it in present was a very clear choice for us, because we always knew we wanted the story to feel very pacey. And as soon as you switch from past to present, it does just have this sense of immediacy. And we always wanted, like, I mean, I'm like a big fan of like Marvel, and I just love these fast-paced kind of. So it also fed into that immediacy of everything happening like right now, if you will. But I also completely appreciate that, you know, people do have their preferences, and sometimes it can I don't mind whether it's first or third or like past or present. I find I can switch quite easily.
I don't think I mind either. I think maybe sometimes people can't put, I don't know, maybe not, but like you when you're not quite clicking with something, you can't put your finger on it, you can say like, oh, it's because it wasn't in first, and maybe that isn't. But I mean, it like, as in it might be, but it's sometimes quite hard to know why you're not like immediately clicking with something, right? I
wonder if anyone who's listening in has like thoughts on why they prefer first or third.
Yeah,
guys, tell us.
Nicely.
David Sorensen, they write both from first person and one character, like Katie said, and I was always like, oh god, I don't know how they do it. How do two authors write from the same point of view? And because we
will be quizzing them about.
We are going to be quizzing them about. And I thought it would be way harder, but then I mean, you have pros and cons, right? Because with Skyler and Astrid, we get so like we like, I feel like to the extent that you almost feel like you are them at times. Like, I mean, it doesn't say a lot for me with Skyler, but like, you get really, really like obsessive over it to the extent that's maybe not always helpful in terms of like a co-author and being a team.
Great for the book because the authenticity of the character.
And I think good for the voice, like that what you said, Ashlee, you know, great. We love it when people say they can't tell who's writing what, because it means that it's like not really jarring to go back and forth between the two, which is but like they, you know, they do feel like such distinct characters. because we've like taken such ownership. And that also I think helps in terms of both of them being like strong FMCs, because when you're writing to yourself, and I've done that in other books, not in fantasy, but you'll always have one that you slightly like writing more. You can definitely like, as in you can switch, as in there might be like bits you like writing from one and on the other or whatever. But I think it's really hard to like, you have to try really hard to like put as much into both of them. And we obviously, for us, we're like putting all of our soul into one character, which isn't a bad thing.
It's like we do that though, because like we put all our soul into one character, but then we're both like, I'm always like, oh my god, Skylar, I love Skylar, and Becky's always like, oh, I love Astrid, which is like, it's quite sweet that we then have that, you know, like how we both love each other's character so much.
Well, and they're not, you know, we do write the other characters that come up, you know, like, and we talk about them. I feel like that, you know, they're still our characters, aren't they? It's just when you're writing. And I mean, I don't think so. Katie's had a go at writing a couple of chapters from Ryan's point of view.
Oh my god, loved it so much. One of my favorite chapter I've ever written is from Ryan's POV, and it's a bonus chapter that is just the best thing since sliced bread. Just so much.
So yeah, I mean, we're going into like book 3 now, but sorry, that was a complete tangent again. Ashley asked a question and we'll give you an answer to something else you didn't answer.
I don't.
But
I
that's
can't
what I
even
enjoy.
what the question was. I don't know what the question was.
Neither do I. We made it up.
It's fine.
Well, to touch on the character work, that's for me again what I think really elevates Bloodbound is, you know, that you can tell that you've both poured so much into your individual characters. The bond between the two is quite layered. You know, they're shaped by trust, sacrifice, and the kind of like emotional connection that you do actually root for both of them equally, which again is so unique because, like you said, Becky, even when you're writing on your own and you're writing two characters, you would naturally gravitate towards one or the other. And I think that you did gravitate towards both. And I won't, this isn't any spoilers, but I think as a reader to really root for both characters is kind of uncommon, because you do kind of think like, oh, I wouldn't mind if something bad, like I don't want bad things to happen, but like I wouldn't be like sad if it happened. So I think, you know, and the world that they're in, it's just determined to tear them both apart. And you know what's so special is that they just, you know, the bond of the two of them. So why was it sort of important for you to, I mean, I know why it's important for you to shape your individual characters on your own, but why was it sort of important to create that, I guess, in the story and have people rooting for both, I guess, equally?
Oh, I think there's like multiple answers to this. So there's like the kind of, let's say the kind of writery answer where not only do we want people to root for both, but then keep moving things around where so for anyone who doesn't know, this is not it, like the fates become intertwined. Like Skylar is of Vatra, which is the dragon kingdom. Astrid is heir to the witches of the northern queendom. They're just these natural enemies who find their fates intertwined, and they're kind of, because of one being from Vatra, the other being from Arturia, they are pitted against each other essentially. And I think one, it's just interesting to have the stakes keep changing of like, it's not only who, it keeps changing of like what might happen to who, and then I'm trying to like, but I think for us as well, because I mean it comes back to how the friendship element of this story was the heart of the story from the get-go. The big things that happen all centered around these two women. I think, you know, everyone goes into this story knowing that Skylar and Astrid are going to become friends or allies in some way despite everything. So I think it's fine to say that. And I think for me and Becky, like some of our favorite stories have always been about sort of powerful women, but also powerful women working together. I think from my point of view in my life, the people I say I love you to every night might be like my husband, my child, but also my friend. Like, it's always my female friends. I'll at the end of it, I always say I love you. And we always wanted it to be and also like kind of to me and Becky and what we were going through at the time and like coming together to create this. I don't know. It's like the friendship, that element actually just felt so natural. It felt like it had to be there.
And it was interesting writing it because obviously the romance in it is so important. And you know, Katie mainly wrote the romance because it's in Astrid's strand, with the main romance anyway. And so we were so aware of giving that space, and like we both say we're big romance readers. Like we love it. In fact, especially in fantasy, like we like love it, love them. Like Mia,
We do.
We love writing those bits. We get really excited about it. So it's absolutely not like that is something we love to read, but we had to make sure that we were like ultimately the most important relationship is Skyler and Astrid. So we were giving that the space, and I guess that comes more now. And that would have been so much harder if we did it not from 2 points of view and didn't give them equal.
Yes.
Yeah. It was a lot of makes that easier in some ways because she's so single-minded and she doesn't have a lot of friends and she doesn't have a lot of people. So when she decides Astrid's important to her, she is like super important to her.
Yeah.
So,
It's like bam.
Yeah. So you know, it takes her a while to let people in and everything, but that does allow space for the friendship in a way that you just wouldn't, like if it was all told from Astrid's point of view, it'd be harder because you'd be trying to balance different relationships. So I think having like equality between the two of them felt like that. I mean, I hadn't even realized, you know, until Katie pointed it out, because there was quite a lot of reviews being like, oh, it's quite unusual to see two female points of view and give them equal weight, you know, pretty much equal weighting, as opposed to like from the male romance point of view. And I hadn't really because, you know, I'd compared it to like some like YA novel I've read that does that, and like so, and you know, some novels that switch between multiple characters, so I hadn't like properly clocked it. So I guess there's a reason, but because the friendship's so important in the story. I mean, it's something that, like carrying through in book 2 that we're super aware of as well in terms of doing that justice, and it does make it. Do you know what? It does make it hard because they both have so much to go through and so much plot. It's just like, where do you find the space for all of it? But so that's we had to work really hard, and like Katie said, we went and rewrote like 100,000 words, and that was a lot of it about like trying to make it more, you know, we've always got to have them like we're two people with two really strong characters, but we're trying to tell one story in one book, and that was something that we had to learn, I think, in the first
for sure.
Not that we were deliberately doing it, it's just something we hadn't, you know, it was deliberately not being cohesive. It was just a hard thing to learn.
Well, like this manuscript, this final book is a lot shorter than the first. It's about 40,000 words shorter than what like the original one was, for the better, obviously. But there's some bits in it where it's like there's things that we still love, you know, like there's kind of the kill your darlings, the things that only me and Becky and our agents will ever know about, which we have. I
think as well because they and ultimately end up kind of on the same path but with very different lenses, so like you said, it's kind of making them together but not together. And it's almost like, and I agree with you, Becky, like you don't often, I can't say that I've read a book where you've had the two FMC POVs and they've not known each other from the start, because sometimes you have a, you know, dual POV but they already know each other. Like a good example is obviously Zodiac Academy, where they're sisters, you know, them, but they don't, so you're kind of watching that like slow burn friendship. And that's really, I've never read anything like it. It was unique to what I've read, and I love that because, you know, we always talk about, yes, there's slow burn romance element, but it's like a slow burn found friendship as well, in a way. I love that.
Enemies, friends as well as the
and like kind of reluctant allies in parts,
in
some moments,
especially on Skyler's part.
And then let's talk, because I was going to touch on female friendship, but I feel like we'll chat about it anyway. We've just done it. Let's talk familiars. Do you have a favorite inspiration, and where did you draw on inspiration for like the personalities and the inner voices, I guess, of I've got. Can you see behind me?
What have you copyright?
Oh,
Bastet! Hello, Angel. I actually wore this jumper tonight in like honor of like familiars. Oh, the familiars. We had a lot of fun deciding the familiars. I think so. This is something. It's kind of a surprise at the very beginning of the novel, but I think those of us who are following the story, I think now everyone knows that Astrid's familiar is a black cat. Like that's not a spoiler, really. Like
yeah,
you know that from pretty early on. And part of the reason for that was, you know, when we talked about earlier about the kind of really leaning into the witch and the black cat.
oh yeah.
And it's a classic witch and her black cat familiar trope.
Yeah.
But I also have my 2 black cats, and I've always loved black cats. So that was also quite personal. But it was the black cat was also very key to Astrid and what she needed. It was funny because we had an amazing question from someone recently. It was about what familiar would have Astrid wanted when she was growing up, knowing she was going to go duel a dragon.
Oh.
And I was like, that's a really fucking good question. But the familiar she got, this cat, is exactly, this tiny black cat is exactly what she needed.
Yeah.
In terms of, I don't know if anyone, like, if people are pet lovers here, and I am a cat lover, and Becky's like an every animal lover, though you have a little dog at home, but Becky also loves cats. But my cats are something that just bring me, you know, like they ease my anxiety, and they're this, like the purring and the comfort that they bring, especially when you're really stressed. I'm thinking Astrid, this witch who's off to duel to the death, and she knows she's going to die.
Yeah.
As much as she, no matter how powerful a familiar, how could it possibly go up against a dragon? And then for the other guys, it was kind of thinking about the landscape. So the landscape is very much inspired by where I used to live in the French Alps, but also Norway. I love like Scandinavian. I don't know why I've got this thing about Norway. I've only been once, but I just love it. I was like learning Norwegian for a bit, so a lot of like the witches are inspired by that. And I was thinking about Quincy, who you meet in chapter 1. So Quincy, basically, he's a giant white fox. So he's basically an Arctic. We don't call him an Arctic fox in the book, but he's a giant white fox who is Astrid's bodyguard's familiar. And that was to do the familiars really fit with the personalities of the witches, and that's what we wanted to try and create. And then you have Gwen, which is Astrid's mum, the queen of Arturia, and her very kind of regal big golden bear, quite serious. I cannot wait for you guys to hear the audio, like, because she does the most amazing Bastet. So someone described, because I was always thinking like Alan Rickman's voice, and then someone was like Patrick Stewart. I was like, yes, Patrick Stewart. It's like, that is like Bastet's voice. And then the rest of the familiars have this very strong like Nordic accent, which just fits them so perfectly. But I also love Boria, who is a beaver familiar. And Boria, you know, she's a bit sneaky. She gets excited by like hits her tail on the ground when she's excited. I think that the 2 that steal the show though are obviously Bastet and Quincy. The sassy, sarcastic, like Astrid would describe Bastet as world weary. That is Bastet. And then you've got Quincy, who's always hungry, incredibly loyal, and no shit fox. Those, sorry Bjorn, sorry Boria. Those are my faves.
I'm a big Quincy fan. So I mean, I've got a border collie, but he's all white, and I've been calling him Quincy. He doesn't know, but his new name is
got a little Quincy.
Little dog, his whole personality is Quincy, and he doesn't even know it. But
wait, can we ask Becky her favorite dragon?
Oh yeah,
what's your favorite dragon, Becky?
Well, I don't think I can say my favorite dragon.
Oh, okay. But by you saying that, I think I know who it is. So,
well, and also my favorite. Yeah, I mean, I'm writing a dragon at the moment. Is that I am getting to like a lot more?
Oh my god, yes!
Just because it's just a really different personality. I'm like liking that.
Okay.
We've got like there's lots of dragony spoilers, aren't there?
Yeah, there's a lot of dragon spoilers, so I can't really.
We won't tell anyone. I think. I don't know. There is romance, but it is secondary to the world building. Was that a conscious choice to focus on the world building and female friendships with the romantic element rather than like a full romance experience?
Yeah, I know we talked about it a bit before, but we definitely wanted it to be plot forward because of the two women. What
Yeah.
I will say is, I think book 2, it's still plot forward, but there's going to be more there's definitely more.
Definitely
It builds to it.
Yeah.
Based on what we've done so far.
There's definitely more romance, right?
Probably. There is more romance. There's more romance. Yeah. Because I don't know what I can
We
say.
can't say, we don't say it. Okay, but I think what we can talk about is that, as we said before, me and Becky are obsessed with, like, we love the, like, I think one that comes to mind recently was The Night Prince, and I'm like, oh my god, Blake, please.
Yeah.
Actually, if he was real, I would forgive every red flag there is. Like, I love romance, I love romantasy, and we wanted, as much as this isn't a romantasy, it is fantasy romance, we wanted to have a romance that people could feel quite
Yeah.
obsessive over. I mean, I feel obsessive over.
And me.
the dragon riding thighs, like. So I was
Yeah.
saying, I think Becky will agree. I think Ryan was the hardest. I spent so, like, that's what I spent most, like, so long, like that. It always takes me longer when
Yeah.
I'm doing something to do with Ryan, for sure, because I, like, every single word I fret over because I, like, want it to be. So, right, because knowing that we don't have as much space as, say, a romance forward book,
Yeah.
because it isn't the main focus. So I want it to feel satisfying, and we want it to feel satisfying without it ever overshadowing the main plot. We want
Yeah.
the best of both worlds, basically.
Yeah, and I think I wouldn't say we, like, deliberately didn't. It's not that we deliberately wanted the romance to be secondary. It was more like we byproduct of the fact that we really wanted the romance in there. And actually, the first draft of Bloodbound was quite different in terms of romance, not in terms of Skylar's side, which I think I was trying to work out if that's a spoiler, but I don't think it is. But it was more like, yeah, like the split, like, how do you do justice to this friendship that we knew was going to be pivotal in so many ways, and the plot, and then still get the romance? So it wasn't that, like, we were like, okay, we don't care about the romance, or we want that.
Yes.
It was more just to, like, how are we going to, like Katie said, how are we going to fit it all in? And it was actually hard. And because the main romance is obviously in Astrid's point of view, it's hard because we would, like, especially towards the end, we were like, we've got to make sure we give Astrid enough space on the page to do it. But we still check in with Skylar because we've, like, set it up that way. So, like, we kind of made a rod for our own backs, and I think, I'm happy with how we pulled it off and everything. But like, it wasn't that, I think the romance is still so important and will still be very important. It's still such a big part. As Katie says, there's a lot of romance stuff to come, and that's also related to the, plot and all of that kind of stuff. So
I think,
I messaged Becky the other day. I was like, I've just turned a decapitation scene into a sexy scene. And Becky was like, I was so excited. Becky's like, I was hoping you'd do that. If anyone who didn't know, like, our jobs, like, read that, like, a decapitation then morphs into this, like, sexy scene. And Becky was like, yes, thank God. I was hoping you'd do this. It's so fun.
That is so funny, and I can't wait to read that.
It's the best scene of the
Oh my
book.
god, it's so good.
That's so fun.
So good.
I was like, notes, just like lots of capital.
Oh my god, yeah, Becky's comments were amazing. She was like, yes, no. She was so excited to read it.
Oh, I love that. And less fun, but still relevant. Social conflict sits at kind of the core of, social and political conflict. Why was it sort of important for you that this world that you've created was built sort of around system imbalance, and what sort of themes were non-negotiable while you were telling their stories?
Oh man, this is a really good question, because I could go off for a long time about this. So I think, first of all, we wanted this fantasy world to reflect the real world. So the climate change and certainly energy poverty and how how climate change disproportionately impacts certain members of society is very much in this story. I'm going to keep it quite short, but transforming these things, and I think lots of fantasy worlds do this, a lot of fantasy authors do this. We talk about our politics through these fantasy worlds, because in this fantasy world you can then fix it. And what's so frustrating, obviously, in our world today, is that we all know how to fix these things that are going on. But there are things, and I talked about it in like an interview recently, that override that capitalism, patriarchy, which means that they do not get fixed. And you feel so powerless. And kind of grappling with these themes in a story that you have power over feels empowering. And I think this is why a lot of novelists do this, like I was saying, especially fantasy novelists. So there's some things, there is, it's called the Cursed Covenant trilogy. And it's about how you have these people who basically are going to go and duel to the death as a sacrifice for their kingdom or queendom, so no one else has to die, as part of like their monarchies. And this, you could probably guess, actually, that the fact that it's called the Cursed Covenant trilogy means that this is something that is important, and there'll be a thing that happens. Well, I believe that's going to happen. This is the very end of book 3. That again, I'm not sure which will really speak to some other like political feelings that say particularly I have. So I know this is very top line, and I think it's hard to be, it's sort of reductive, I know, given everything, like the state of the world and everything that's going on. But like I say, I think when you feel so disempowered, obviously we talk about like this, God, it's awful, isn't it, thinking about these themes that we cover that then might feel like a spoiler for the book. But the genocide that's going on now, like going beyond the threatened genocide of an entire people by Trump recently, you just, like I say, you feel so powerless. And then as a writer in a story like this, you feel like this is how I feel empowered to put this out into the world, I suppose.
No, it does make perfect sense. And I actually, in my Q&A with Penn in February, we did talk about this a lot, and how the power of like modern storytelling, especially in like the fantasy genre, can make like social issues, global issues, and injustices, they actually make it accessible to the reader as well. So as a writer, you obviously feel empowered because you're fixing the problem, but I think as a reader, I think that it makes these social issues accessible to us in a way that like it's not overwhelming. Because sometimes, I mean, we all know, turning on the news after a long day's work and you put your kids to bed and you think, oh, I'm just going to put the news on. You do not want to do that. But then you also don't want to be so far removed that you're unaware of what's going on. Like, yes, it's nice to be blissfully unaware. That's why we read. We want escapism. But then it's win-win, right? We're getting escapism, but we're also confronted with real world issues in an accessible way. And I think that's so important right now, is that like
it gives
people the confidence to think like, okay, if you need to make that link to make that social issue not overwhelming because you've read it in a fantasy novel, I think that's the real power of,
and I think it's great for challenging people, because I think a great one of this is like, when you hear Star Wars fans who also say vote MAGA, and you're like, wow, like, do you get the cognitive dissonance here? Like, you would be a stormtrooper, but yet you don't understand. So that's frustrating. Maybe that's a bit sweeping of me, but I think it can hold a mirror up to you in a way that doesn't feel like you're being beat around the head with it. But it can also be a bit of a kind of satirical reflection on society and being like, wow, things could actually be fixed. But people don't want to. Or
we are not.
like the people who have the power to don't want to. Although I felt a lot of it's funny, isn't it, how Artemis 2 has had this kind of like weirdly like kind of like it's just
It's
felt so
beautiful.
inspiring and lovely and like, oh wow, there's a good news story. And the captain's Easter message about a one world. It's like, I hope a couple of people have taken, even if like one or two people take that on board, that gorgeous message he gave, like, here we are, these 4 astronauts looking back at the world where it's just one world and we're all in it together. Like there's no borders. I was like, I loved it. Oh
Yeah.
I wanted to cry.
I've cried a lot about I'll put
so
that in a
heartwarming.
public forum. I've cried a lot about that tiny little space tube.
Amazing.
It's brilliant. Brilliant.
Yeah.
And then like this is more specific to you, Katie. I know you've spoken about like the connection with Astrid and bipolar. And I am bipolar. I was diagnosed quite late in life, and not late in life, late in my 20s. I'm still young in life. So firstly, I want to thank you obviously for that representation. Well, I think I'm young in life.
You are young in life. You are.
Thank you. And I feel, really lucky that it's touched on something so beautifully in a book that I personally adore. Like it's special to have that representation. So I just want you to know that, it's great to see that world reflecting something that's personal to me. And when you're writing both of your characters, how much was put in purely for them and also for yourself?
Oh God, that's such a good. I'm so like, Ashlee, you've made me. I mean, I'm sorry, but obviously you have to live with this because it's a very difficult disorder to live with, and it's also very difficult for the people who live with you. And it's funny because Becky and I have been talking about this a lot over the past few days because of what happens in, or what's going to happen in book 2. And for me, bipolar disorder came in very early with Astrid. It's obviously, for anyone listening who's not read it, it's never named as bipolar disorder. She talks about a mood disorder and her manic episodes, these depressive episodes. But Ashlee, you'll know yourself how bipolar disorder is a massively misunderstood disorder where I think a lot of people get confused with borderline personality disorder. And it makes someone in their manic episodes can make them incredibly reckless, feel like they're invincible. But what's key in book 1 is that Astrid has a tincture, a medication that she takes. And that was very reflective of how when I was finally, because I was diagnosed late in life, and how when I was finally diagnosed, not only did it help me to make sense of everything, I got this sense of self-awareness, but then the medication completely saved my life. And so I wanted it not just to be about bipolar disorder, but how Astrid has this medication to help manage it. Because I'm pro medical intervention if it saves lives. And I know it sounds, so I should say for people as well, I would say Bloodbound is I would describe it as like a contemporary second world fantasy romance, and contemporary in the sense that I think sometimes when we talk about fantasy, people automatically think it's historical, but in our world, there is electricity, there's motorized vehicles, there's room service, and there are things like, so, and we talk about like having this tincture to manage this mood disorder, and that has been really important to me from the beginning, because like I would call myself quite neurospicy, if you were, with various things going on. But bipolar disorder would be the biggest and probably the most misunderstood, in terms of, when we're talking about autism or ADHD, OCD, and these things, or like panic disorders as well, which you see a little bit of, because like mine can manifest. I get like panic attacks, and like that can manifest. That's what you see Astrid having, because when she sees, like, guys, seriously, if you saw a dragon for the first time and knew you had to duel one, who wouldn't have a panic attack? And I was like, why do we not see that? Like, of course you're gonna freak out. Of course you're gonna freak out. And I wanted to get that across, but I wanted to make it feel like just very much part of the character, rather than this kind of like, this is a plot point, if that makes sense. I wanted it to just feel like this is who I am, and this is how I manage it. And my gram taught me the tincture for it, because my gram had this mood disorder.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, to answer your question, it was like from the very, very early stages, I knew that's what I wanted to do, because it felt like, I suppose it was a bit cathartic for me, Ashlee.
Yeah.
Like, you know, when you say how much you went through, that was for me, for sure, to be able to do that with Astrid. But I said to Becky the other day, I feel like I'm being a bit cowardly in book 2, because bipolar disorder can be a very ugly thing. And when people see what it can manifest as, it can be very difficult for people.
Yeah.
And so I'm grappling with that at the minute, about what that looks like. So it's been actually great in terms of some kind of self-reflection for me and how I deal with what's going on for me, I suppose. But I'm so glad to hear that it resonated for you, Ashlee.
Yeah, I'm really grateful, because, you know, like you said, it is quite misunderstood and also sometimes glamorized in some ways. Like in a lot of modern TVs, they just see people in their manic moments where everything's going perfect, and it's not always like that.
Or people like Kanye West who blame
yeah.
their fascism and Nazism. I'm like, sorry, no.
We're not
You can have
associated
bipolar
with that.
disorder and also be an asshole. Let's be real. Like, sorry, absolutely not. That drives me insane. That man is a disgrace, and I'm so glad the Home Office barred him from coming into this country. And Wireless should be ashamed of themselves for even accepting him as a festival headline.
Yeah.
Thank you, Alice.
Oh, hi, Alice.
And Heather.
And speaking of female characters, they are like often judged harshly in fantasy roles more than male. Do you think that awareness kind of shapes how you wrote the female characters, or how you kind of portray the dynamics between them? Because they are just strong women, right? And I think it's important that I think women do have a tougher time, female characters in that sort of fantasy genre, especially.
Oh my God, and just in real life, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to take this one about Skyler, Becky?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, actually writing it, I don't know how much, I don't know if Katie feels differently on this, but I don't know how much, as in Skyler was always Skyler, weirdly, as in she's actually, like, her character's been pretty consistent. The Skyler plot has changed a lot, like with all the rewriting, but her character's been pretty consistent, I'd say. But actually, you know, I found it weird, and I think going back to what we were saying about there's pros and cons, right, between doing your own character as a 2 author. Like the pros being the voice and and you know how attached you feel and all of that kind of stuff. But one of the cons is you take it so personally. So
Yeah.
There's like been quite a lot of there's been some people that don't like Skyler. Because she's much harsh. I'm guessing because she's much harsh. I actually don't know why they don't like her. But like because she's quite harsh and almost on that like unlikable side. But as you were
Because
saying,
people expect women to be soft, don't they?
Just thinking that,
Yeah.
and just saying, actually, I was like, I think actually, if she was a man and if she was like the male love interest, she'd get away with some of
Yes.
what she does,
Yeah.
and
They'd all fancy her.
care because it would be like
Yeah.
cool red flag stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas because she's a woman, and she's a bit harsher I think, than some other characters. But also she's had a bit of a shit life, and I think like, and
Yeah.
she's very like closed off.
Sorry.
And
I
she's
know
very
he's so
closed off and defensive, and doesn't let people in. And that also, I think, that is reflected in her voice. And actually, you know, she is going to change a little bit in book 2, and we'll see more of her vulnerability because of the fact that she's opened up to a few people. But in book 1, you know, when we open the book, she's got this one person, her best friend Cam, who's gone missing, that she cares about, and she doesn't care about. She will not let anybody else get close to her. We see it in flashbacks. It actually took a while for Cam to get close to her anyway. So she has that barrier up, and she has her defense mechanisms. And sometimes that is by like saying stupid stuff and like making jokes that are definitely not appropriate. And like, but it's her coping mechanism. And like, and you're right. She's not really like a traditionally like feminine character in any sense, actually, like in terms of like you know, her personality, but also, you know, like how she dresses and
Yeah.
physical.
Yeah.
She's muscly. She's
yeah.
muscly. She's covered in scars. Like she's
Yeah.
lean. You know, and actually, like, go on. Sorry, Becky.
I know. You can go.
I was going to say then how we both made a conscious decision where we were like, even down, we didn't want to dwell too much on like how the characters actually looked, but there was a very conscious thing about making Astrid actually curvier, not just like I've got massive boobs.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But it's like a character who, you know, not like who's just an average dress size. She wears a size 12 to 14, like I do, and like the majority of the UK population do. And we just wanted it to have it. It's like these women who, okay, of course we've gone like lent into like, oh look, she's so beautiful, and she might be like short at like 5'4" or whatever. Short. Again, sorry Heather, I don't know how tall Heather is. I'll have to find out later. And we just wanted it to be like, we just wanted it to feel like they were like normal women in the sense of how they looked. You know, it's kind of like just a normal body size. You know, there's a moment when Astrid's doesn't want to be on a period while fighting a dragon. Of course you don't want to be on a period fighting a dragon. That'd be the worst.
And I think I mean, Skyler is like lean and muscly, and there's some of the artwork of her is beautiful. I mean, she does look beautiful. Like I will.
Yeah, but then she doesn't have like size 32G boobs on top of that. Do you know what I mean?
But also she's lean because she's like, what if she's done?
She
like,
has to be
like juggling knives and like walking on tightrope. Like she's like, it's literally her body is formed like through necessity, and like she hasn't, you know, she's grown up and she's not had much money. Like it was like more like a real practicality thing of like or she is because of that. But yeah, that is interesting in terms of this. Actually makes me feel better for people who don't like Skyler, Ashley. So I'm like, it's because she's a woman.
But it's funny. I found like the people who've messaged, like Autumn Woods, who I'm sure won't mind me saying this, was like, I would die for Skyler. And there's like these women who have like taken, like they're like, Skyler is the best friend I need in my life, you know, because they've really I think this kind of this simmering anger and this female rage. And
female rage.
Skyler represents. But then when you talk about strong women, I think with Astrid what we wanted to show was how there's so many different types of strengths. There's a quiet strength, there's the strength in your duty, in responsibility, in, you know, like you don't have to be all powerful to be strong, you don't have to be neurotypical to be strong. So we really, that was a very conscious decision by us too, showing the different types of female strength through both of these characters, so that hopefully everyone sees something in them. It's funny because like Becky was saying about people not liking Skyler, there's someone I think on a review, we try and avoid reviews, but one of them, I think they called Astrid a wet blanket. Like, fine, she can be a bit of a wet blanket sometimes, but she is about to duel to the death. Give her a break. Give her a break, guys.
I think it's hard not to take it personally, but ultimately, like, and they are both flawed and really different. And also, nobody is gonna like go through what they go through and be like perfect all the time.
No.
It's a definition you want to take.
Even just reading it, you feel the feelings. Imagine living it.
Yeah.
I would die. I always say if there was an apocalypse, I would just walk out into it. I don't want to try and survive. I don't like camping. I am not built for it. Like I would never survive in a fantasy world. I'm like, nope, that dragon can eat me. I'm not even gonna try.
The only thing I enjoy about like where I could see myself in the world is when they always talk about like the breads and the cheeses that they pack for their journeys. I think, that sounds nice.
Oh my god, 100%. Yes, the
and
feast.
Then, like, a hot love interest, like following you around.
The dragon riding thighs. I see myself right in between those.
I'm still like because I horse ride. I'm like convinced that I would be able to ride a dragon. So
I believe you could. I
second that.
with those horse riding thighs of yours, Becky.
I'll try and wrap up, but I'm honestly having so much fun, so I don't want to.
Me too. I'm like, should I pour myself another Q Royale? Maybe I should.
So I will try and wrap up and leave people on a pleasant, well, it's all been pleasant, but you know, try and end on something.
On a high.
I've got to end somewhere. When people inevitably read May 7th, it's May 7th, right? Yeah, so soon.
Yes,
So soon.
so soon.
When they close the book, what do you hope stays with them?
Oh, I think I have like the immediate and the longer. I love the immediate, bitch, what the fuck? Like, I want people to think that when they immediately close the book. Like, I want them to be like, what the fuck just happened? I am so fucking excited. Sorry for swearing, guys. And like, I like to like that pure enjoyment element of like, oh my god, that was that wild ride. And then I just want whatever people want or need to take away from it is what I hope they take away from it. I hope, like, at the end of the day, it's meant to be fun and entertainment. And you know, I'm not Hilary Mantel. Do you know what I mean?
I am.
But I just, I think
I love that self-awareness for you.
But like, I just want people to have them so much fun and then process things and be like, I took, especially, like, you know, actually, Ashlee, like the things that are personal to them, like what you told me then about that thing, like what resonated with you with Astrid, like that for me, and just readers enjoying it. I just love hearing from readers. My favorite, this book is for readers, and that is what 100% matters to me. Yeah, whatever they want or need to take from it is what I want them to take from it.
That's perfect.
I'd agree on the fun thing. I mean, so in I think the reader thing is so apt, because I always think that when you write a book and you publish it and let go of it, it kind of doesn't really only belong to you anymore. It belongs to every single person that reads it. And I think we all had that right as readers, where you read a book and it is like part of your soul, and like it does feel like it's yours. And so like the like best compliment if somebody also feels like they own it.
Yes.
I would also say, like, I mean, we've talked so much about it, so sorry to go back about it, but the friendship thing, like Katie said, it was like personal for the two of us, but I think coming, like, again, big on the romance, but I think coming out of a book feeling like it's not all about the, like, if you don't have that like epic love in your life, or you're single, or you're, you know, that it's not, that is not the be all and end all, and that is not the only thing that's going to make you happy. And the important relationships in your life that are like those friendships, and they can be like just as validating and just as important, and that's like
more important.
And that's something that like is super important to me. So
that's, I mean, that kind of touched on nicely. I mean, that's what's so important about us as a book club, I think, is that we kind of like a community version of found family and female friendship, you know, because you talk about how your writing journey started, you know, you didn't know many people and you connected on that. And I know I can speak for a lot of not only the hosts, people that I work with at Chapter 25, but the members as well, was that it's born out of people just not knowing people in the area, wanting to, you know, connect on something that they enjoy. And it's like a living embodiment of that, I think. So
I love what you've created, you guys. Is that how you started then? Is it a local, are you in the local area near each other?
Yeah, so Sean, our fabulous founder, CEO, it was started from her book club in a bookstore in Malden in 2023, and attached to that was the very first Chapter 25 book club. And then she just found that, you know, and like you guys were saying, that years ago, even fantasy readers, it wasn't spoken about, and also reading books wasn't cool a few years ago. And I think we can credit that to like Books-tagram and Book Talk, and it's spread fast that reading is cool. And the people that maybe haven't picked up a book since they were like 16 were starting to say, oh, wait a second, I do like reading. And people were owning that as well. I think for me personally, like when people would say like, what's your hobby, you would never say reading, and now you would say that. So I think and then Chapter 25 just blew up in the most amazing way, and you know, we're over 250 locations and amazing community.
It's just absolutely incredible. So amazing, because it's just, I think there's so much work that goes into that to maintain this community. And it's because, again, it's like the passion and the friendships that keep it going. So wonderful. And actually, it's made me think my answer as well is like, actually, when people close the book, I want them to want to talk to their friends about it and like have communities like this that they want to talk about it. Like, honestly, Ashlee, I've had so much fun tonight. I could stay on the phone. I want to get everyone in here, and I want to pour myself another Kir Royale, and I want to just keep chatting. It's just so lovely.
Like Q&A
so lovely.
after hours. Like,
honestly, it's been so nice. So nice. You're such an amazing host and
great
interviewer. You really are.
Oh, well,
oh no, my cat's
I'll leave on
me.
that amazing note. But I know you guys have got a really busy month ahead. You're going to interview. You've got Pencol coming up. Sarah Parker is coming up soon as well. And then also your release. So from me, a big thank you for what you've written, because personally, I loved it. It's incredible. Everyone must read. I will sing and shout about it for as long as I have to. But good luck with the next month and months ahead. And you have very big, passionate fans at Chapter 25 in your corner. So good luck.
So much.
Thank you, Ashlee.
That's okay. And thank you for joining me. And I'll hopefully speak to you guys very soon. And thank you
Thanks for
everyone
having
who
us.
can't say anything back, but thanks for being here.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, gang, for joining us so late on a Thursday. I so appreciate you being here.
Yeah, thank you, everyone.